Hello and welcome to the Love, Laugh, Live chat show with myself and the gorgeous Dav Ubi with her new fringe.
Our show is all about creating and guiding you on how to manifest a more fulfilling life that you deserve and desire, and how to raise your consciousness through loving, laughing and living. So my name is Davinda Ruby. I'm a life and spiritual coach, and sitting next to me, my gorgeous co-host with a new Coca!
And my name is Gadya Garcha and I'm an empowerment and resilience coach. So today we've got a few different topics for you, and they're all very interesting, so stay tuned. And what's the first topic that we're going to cover today?
So the first topic is, I read the other day that the next generation of kids, mainly girls, they're suggesting, that are losing the cooking skills that we had and our grandparents had. So why do you think that is, Adele?
Oh, there's just so many different reasons as to why this could be happening. I mean, we're going to go through, through them one after the other. Maybe parents, because parents are becoming so much more busier. They don't maybe have the time to teach. We're not going to say just girls, because obviously we like to live in an equal society. They don't have time to teach their children the basics of cooking. So I think that's one of the main reasons.
One of the main reasons, and yeah, because we think parents are responsible of how they bring up their children and what values and principles they teach them. And obviously it's had a grandparents' time, mainly a grandparents, not much with us. I think another बहुत सिगा, they're very serious about जब कुड़ियां दे रिश्ते करने आ ताई रिश्ता पक्का सोना रिश्ता होंदा if the girl knew how to cook, because on their sore they expected the girl know how to basic roti banane or सारा कुछ even desserts तक. So it was a way of knowing that the girls accepted fully and they can't be backfired thinking another माँ प्यो ने कुछ सिखाया नहीं हैगा. So it was very important for the respect and the dignity of the family that the kudi was coming from.
So because basically as soon as she got married, she's going to go straight into the kitchen.
Yeah, that's what is expected. But taya the rishta hunda siga, they did expect to know how to cook. I know we're talking about cooking skills, but there's other areas as well expected to know how to stitch and crochet karni, knitting karni, kapde sine. So there's a lot of all those, but we're talking about the cooking skills. That this is what I read a few days ago, and I can understand why they're losing the skill. But like I said, maybe losing skill in one area, but they're building skills in other areas. But we'll talk more about that later on.
Yeah. I mean, I think when our parents were teaching us or trying to teach us, they didn't have as many. They weren't as socially busy as what we are now. Because now my generation, we want to spend time with our friends, we want to spend time with family, our own children, and grandchildren, if that may be. And so there's so many things going on, and we want to go to our gym classes and things like that. So maybe we just don't want to invest as much time in our children in terms of teaching them how to cook. But like you said, our grandparents, my grandma, I mean, she was really, really strict. And I remember going to the Gurdwara and being forced, kind of told that we had to go there, and that was the place to learn, because it was easier. You could make lots of mistakes. You could stand in the corner making your bede, and then or making your roti, and you'd pass it down the table, and if it wasn't accepted, it kind of get chucked back.
Well, anybody could have done it. It wasn't me.
Yeah. and
but it's a good place to practice, wasn't it, in the Gurdwara? Roti belne, pede karne, atta gurna. That's a way to practice.
And I was there from the age of 8. I remember being there. I mean, I did enjoy it, but it was just one of those things that you did, and you just didn't really have a choice, and you didn't really think about it too much. And like I said, there wasn't so much going on. Whereas now, if you think about children, they've got, if they're at university, they want to learn all of that. They want their social life, they want their personal life, they want to go to the gym. So this is something that they have to fit in, but they want to do it at their own pace. And I don't feel that they think learning Indian food or Asian food, wherever you, is as important.
Yeah, it's not a priority anymore.
Yeah, and I think now it's also because it's so convenient to get food from so many different shops, outlets that do different kinds of food. I mean, if you think about it, you can order any kind of food you know, like Asian, Indian, Chinese, I don't know,
any food,
any
really.
kind of food. You can literally download the app and you can have a different meal for about a month easily. Whereas when we were young, it was literally just chips. You know, from the chip shop. You didn't really have as much choice.
Even that was a treat.
And that was a massive treat. So I think that's the most important thing.
Coming back to the Gurdwara thing, about how obviously when we were younger, we did learn you know, a few skills from the Gurdwara. And because our parents were still busy, because most of our parents, our generation, our parents, we had immigrated from different countries. So they were focused on settling down. So they neglected us to a extent. It wasn't important enough to teach us. This is our parents, but obviously our grandparents is different. They're very strict. But I'm just saying, other Gurdwara, we did learn a lot. But Hun Gurdwara, you don't have to do, our kids don't have to do much, because they always seem to have this set of people that already, they hire them, don't they, the Gurdwaras, they do all the cooking,
or they do seva, whichever way.
They have, you know, most of the Gurdwaras, they go to a roti, they're ready, you just have to pay them. So even now, the children miss an opportunity to learn from the Gurdwaras as well.
But again, if you think about it, parents, you know, if you have some kind of function at a religious place, even the parents may turn up at that time and not help out beforehand. Do you know what I mean? Because they want to get ready, they want to wear their best outfit or whatever it is. So even the parents are not going to have that expectation of the child because they're going to turn up just before the part starts or something like that. So I think that's
what's happening now. It's really becoming the normal thing now. But I feel like this is why we're losing the skills of how to, you know, chopping, cooking right from scratch. You know, everything sort of like, even when tadka vi karna, sometimes I think some parents now, they probably make the tadkas over the weekend, don't they? So just to make it easy, a batch. And so it's always like, come to fatafat, get the, you know, after the freezer, tadka's already done, and jaldi fahabad karke, isn't it? And that's how they cook. And the kids, they haven't got the time, the patience, you know, doing it with, you know, chadena, with all that love and devotion, and I think it's a difference in how we cook nowadays.
I think it's just a completely different lifestyle, and I think if you've got a passion for it, then you will take the time out to do it, whether it's baking, whether it's making Indian food or Asian food, whichever way. But I think there's a lot more pressure on children because, generally speaking, children do want to do well at school, at college, at university. So the cooking skill is something that is way at the bottom of their priority list.
But we've done that because we want our kids to do better now. In order for them to really settle down and go through the hardships we went through when we had to come into this country. So we're thinking to see पूरा ध्यान पढ़ाई च रखो कोई ना रोटी ऐसी sort out कर देंगे and then we as well getting busy, the ladies, because we have a home life and we're investing our time into starting a career or something. So by the time we come home, Nana school check, now we think, oh God, I'm so tired, just do a takeaway, you know, just take some food
frozen food,
frozen food, processed food, or we just pick something up on the way from a restaurant or whatever. So it's becoming the normal way of living now, and the bache are losing the skill. And but I did as well, because like you were saying the same thing, I didn't really learn how to cook until after I got married. So the first 6 months of my marriage, luckily mere sasara, they were still working, and they used to work full time. So so I was home for the 6 months when I got married. So that's when oh my God, I have to make some sabji or something, roti. And a few times in a day I get my sabji wrong, and to the point it's like disastrous.
I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall.
And I would, oh my God, I have to start again and throw it in the bin, or throw it somewhere you can't even smell it or something. I thought, oh my God, then I'm trying to be ringing my mum, I got it all wrong. But that's when, under pressure, when I knew I had to do it. In the 6 months, I did learn a lot. But I didn't do it, Pella, because, I don't know, same again, our parents weren't as strict, but my grandparents would have been.
I mean, to be honest, I didn't know how to cook much. like when I was good at sewing, you know, like my mum used to get me to make all the sofa covers with the machine, and I don't know, do her moringa all over again, like the fashionable style. She didn't really teach me to cook, which to be honest I wasn't too bothered about, and I was quite lucky. I got married into my cousin's family, and she did all the cooking, so I just kind of watched her and copied her and tried to do the best I could. But going back to the children, I feel that our children are more creative than what we are. They'll kind of make food that we wouldn't really make. We'll, like our generation will stick to what we've learnt and kind of stay within that remit. Whereas I think our children are more adventurous and will try different dishes.
Experimenting.
And they will definitely experiment. And I actually enjoy that food more than I would enjoy a typical, you know, roti, whatever.
I mean, how often do you have roti in a week? So they probably
we have about 3 times
a week.
But I mean, I do love roti, don't
I mean, we do want to, especially when we've gone on holiday. We come back to Sydney, the roti, don't we? So, but I do feel like YouTube, but they pick up a lot from there, don't they? How to cook certain things.
Yeah.
I mean, the other day, Aman made something so nice because we're all going into this gym fanatic thing at the moment. So it's about protein food, because she's vegetarian. So she tried something it was like tofu marinated with some lovely bit of boiled rice and you know, really lovely sliced cucumbers. I'm just saying, she experimented with it, but it looked like real top class food you have in a restaurant. I wouldn't know how to do that.
But you would if you went onto YouTube.
I would, but I'm not thinking that. I'm not that creative. We've learnt the basics. But I'm just saying, even though we're saying that obviously that statement came up that the future generation losing the skills how our grandparents used to cook. Yes, they're losing that skill to some extent, but they're building new skills.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So they're creating new skills that where we haven't tried, our grandparents haven't tried. So, but the basic roti, I think, you know, like 2 or 3 times a week, it seems to work.
It is a lot. I mean, I think it's good, and I do think, going back to it, that if your child goes to university or has got a job and is still at home, they love the fact that their mum or dad or both or either can make food, and they can just come home and really enjoy proper home cooked food. But going back to home cooked food, I don't know how to make saag, and I'm not ashamed to say that. And or curry, but 2 or 3 of my sisters do know how to make it really, really well. So it's really, really good, and it's very kind of them when they give it to me, and then I use it fully. And I've got 2 or 3 people within my extended family who are very generous like that, and I really do appreciate that. But what I was going to say was that there's no way I'm going to make saag in my house, because the kids will just complain and say the house stinks, you know, with really bad gas.
Really?
So that's the main reason. And plus it's cheaper. You know, if you want to just, if there's just like, at the moment it's just me and my husband because the kids have flown the nest. But it's like, well, one dumper is enough for us for one evening. And why would I go to all that trouble? Unless I'm feeding like 20 people, I'm just not going to do it. So for me, I've lost that skill, but I'm happy to lose that skill because I just don't think it's that necessary.
I know, but I really I wish I learned how to cook saag. My mother-in-law, she makes the best saag. She makes the best saag. And my son loves it, you know, so he's special treat and he loves his saag. But I don't think I could ever make it as good as my mother-in-law. She just had that special gift in her hands, you know, to make saag.
I think some people are just born with, like one of my sisters especially, she makes all the food that my mum used to make.
Really?
That's just such a lovely thing. So I think there's pros and cons with both. You know, our children may be losing that, but at the same time, they're gaining, or they're willing to experiment more than what we did. But then that's probably because they've got a lot more ingredients at the time, whereas we didn't have all the sort of stuff that's come onto the market now. There's so many different cultures and people from all over the world where all those things are in all of the different supermarkets. So it's so much easier to make something that we wouldn't even bother trying because we don't want to waste our money on stuff like that. But children will. So that's an interesting one.
I also remember the comment my dad used to make. It's funny, my dad made it, that जब मैं रोटी बनाते थे, I used to do holi and dad, his tummy off goes, तो अन्नी holi बनाते कि कोई किसी ने तेरा ब्याह नहीं करना. He used to say that to me, thinking, what's my roti speeds got to do with marriage? I could never understand it.
It's just mad. I mean, I remember my nanny, she was really strict, but she used to make beautiful food, honestly. She used to say things like, मैं था ना थानू बेच पा के मैं खानू बना दूँ. She used to make like so many dishes just on her own, hauly. But oh God, if we would try, she'd say, थानू परे हटो, थानू नहीं पता. Or she'd say, same as you, थानू कहने बियाना थानू सिद्धी रोटी भी नहीं बनानी.
Exactly, it always is related to marriage. That's our grandparents are really fixated on, and obviously their parents and their parents before then.
They must have had a tick list.
Yeah, so
checklist.
The cooking skill is what actually got the rishta. More than anything. But Ajkal Nyane thinking, oh, as long as my father-in-law, mother-in-law can make it,
I'm happy.
You know, and some mother and father-in-laws koi nasi banaonge, tusi aapte khush raho, tusi aapte kam te jao, you know. So it's funny how things have changed. And
but I think that's nice. I think it's nice where, like, within our family home, I'm happy to make all the Indian food, and then the kids, you know, will make different dishes.
Yeah,
and
it's nice to share that. It is nice.
So I think it's nice just to have a bit of variety.
Yeah.
So the next thing we're going to just mention, so I hope you enjoyed our little topic there. So if you found a ton of money, what would you do? Consciously, would you take it to the police, or would you have it to yourself, or would you share it with your family and friends or whoever?
So you mean kinne sare paise thanu you found, is that what you're trying to say?
Thanu laj pe paise bahut jyade sare.
Bahut jyade.
Bahut jyade.
Okay, and it just in front of you.
It's just
okay,
there.
what would you do with it? Okay, I would.
And then I'll tell you a fact.
Oh, really? Okay, so if it's loads of money, I would feel like if I just kept it to myself. I mean, the way I am, obviously, especially the work that we do, I'd feel it would bother me if I kept the money. I think it would play on my conscience. It really would. It would. I think it definitely would.
So what would you do?
I'll probably just, if I found it, obviously that money belongs to someone. They're probably really fretting and worrying, and it could be their livelihood. And so I'll probably just hand it to the police, and the police would obviously, somebody would go to the police and say, no, some money has gone missing or got nicked. So I feel that's a good deed. And I just feel doing that good deed, jo kuch tusi karte, and you will, what goes out will come back.
What goes round comes
round. So if I kept the money, it would be out of lalach and being greedy and not having no sense of value to others. Whoever's going through that must be going really through a tough, scary moment, losing all that money. So I think out of good deed, I'll hand it in, knowing that, you know, my actions are coming from a good place, and what goes out will come back. That's what I would do.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I think I agree with what you're saying. I would probably do the same. And also, I mean, just imagine if you did keep the money, people would know. Because all of a sudden you'd have a nice, maybe you'd buy a car, or you'd buy
So you're
jewelry.
talking about thousands and thousands or millions?
Yeah, just thousands and thousands. So even if you kept it, just imagine if you kept it, or I kept it, or whoever kept it, people would know.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden you've come into some money, and it's going to show, whether it's on your house, whether it's on your clothes, on your jewellery. Do you know what I mean? It's gonna come out somewhere.
Yeah.
So and then people are going to say, well, wait, how you look like you're like, people will say you look a bit flash or flushed.
Oh yeah, it will come out.
And then you'd be like, you'd have to justify where that money came from, or where you got it from, or stuff like that. You know, just imagine. So me personally, I'm just thinking, well, it would depend where it was. So if it was like it behind a wall, where it's been hidden, so nobody would know it was there. If I found it, I'd probably keep a little bit of it.
A little bit?
Just a little, maybe like about, if it was about 100 grand, maybe about 5 grand. And I would share it with the family or the children or something, or I would probably, or maybe give it to some poor people that, you know, are begging on the streets and stuff like that. So I would definitely, I think I would definitely do that, but only for the good, not out of greed.
Yeah, I know.
So I would do it like that, and then the rest of it I would take to the police and say, look, this is what I found. And because did you know that any money that's found anywhere, be jitte bhi tusi paise ko lajje jade sare, not like £100 or something, I don't think police would be bothered about that. Thousands, je thanu tusi garden goddde a ta utthe trunk bharya piya paisiyan de naal. That money belongs to the king.
Does it?
Yes, it belongs to the king, and you have to hand it in. The ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੇ ਪੈਸੇ ਲੱਜੇ ਵੀ ਆ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਖਰਚ ਲਏ ਆ, ਕਰਕੇ ਲੋਕਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਲੱਗ ਗਿਆ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੈਸੇ ਲੱਜ ਪਏ ਨੇ ਸਾਰੇ, if they've been reported to the police, they get into a problem. They could end up in
it's
jail.
illegal. So
it is illegal, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I read about this. So that's an interesting thing. Yeah. So I think a little bit of both, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah, but I feel like if I did hand in all the money, and I'll obviously let the police know that you have to give your name and everything, and I just feel, I'm convinced the owner of the money will come back to me and say, you have half of this. Maybe. Half of this.
yeah, but that's if the owner is alive and is around, because some people have died and they've never left a will, so nobody knows who that money could belong to.
It depends where you find it as well.
That's what I mean, because a lot of people, like our grandparents or great-grandparents, they would have hidden money in walls and like buried in the garden, and thinking one day I'm going to spend that money, but then who knows what happens, and then that money just goes. So then we may never know who that money belongs to, but that money legally it belongs to the king. I
think it will go to that money will end up with that person's life.
If it's meant to reach, whoever it's meant to reach.
So it's one of those things. Maybe we might go home tonight to shopping, you might find a bag.
Yeah, who knows?
A bag of money.
But I suppose the other thing is, it could be drug money, it could be for killing somebody, and it is dirty money at the end of the day. So that's another thing that would be
it could be anything.
If
you think of the bigger picture, that money was meant to come to us because we don't know that money was robbed of us. And whoever's lost the money, it's probably come back, this lifetime is going to come back to us.
Yeah.
Could be anything.
I mean,
like
it's that saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know why they say it. I don't know if you've ever heard of this little quote, Sona, and I'm thinking it could be money as well. Sona guacha bhi maraya. I sound like a typical auntie now. And Sona guacha bhi maraya ta Sona lajja bhi maraya. So it'd be interesting to know why people say that. Have you heard it?
No, I have. It's first time I'm hearing
it.
No, but auntie,
I don't know why.
Good day, auntie.
But yeah, so
that's interesting. So you ever think to see would you keep that money, or would you just, you could do anything with it. Some people just gurdwara mathe take sakte, building fund.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I don't know.
The famous building fund.
The famous building fund.
Yeah.
So now we're going to talk about another interesting topic. Did you know, Kal, yesterday was the first day of spring. Have you noticed the weather din lambe ho reha, and you get up in the morning, it's lighter, and you getting home from work, cheers. Even yesterday we was going to the radio, it's about 6:30. I still felt it was January, and I thought, God, I love it when the days are longer. Yeah. So it's equinox, it's called. It's about equal night and day, same amount of time. So yesterday was the first day of spring, wonderful, of 2024. So I don't know, I think every season has its meaning and purpose, and I love spring. It's one of my favourite seasons. They all are, but I think spring is just...
I love autumn.
What it represents, so and I suppose it's how your personality is, and so I like new beginnings, I like planting new seeds, I like visualizing new things, because we are conscious creators, so we're creating every time, every thought we have is planting a seed, and that seed, once we nurture it and love it and enjoy it, and then obviously by summer, or let's say autumn times, we actually can enjoy the fruits of our seeds. So I always feel like now is the best time, because that's the outer world is a reflection of what's going on inside. So inside now it's time to plant our seeds. And what do you want to plant? What seeds do you want to plant?
We'll have a growing family, I suppose. Growth in every area. That's what I would say. But I think for me, the lighter days make such a difference. You feel a little bit low. When you get home and it's dark, and the contrast, now you've got longer days, temperature it's getting warmer, so you want to go out into the garden, or go and meet friends outside, and you just enjoy life so much more at this time of year, more than you would, I feel, in other times of the year, because I've got a conservatory that, or the it's like a bit of a sun trap. And it's just so lovely. But in terms of you feel warmer, you feel lighter, because having the light for longer, it just makes you feel better. I mean, because you know, people get affected with their mood because it makes you feel a little bit low, because you know the darkness just has that effect on some people a lot more than others. And then you know you can buy these lamps and things like that, but I feel like it's almost like somebody's opened the curtains and you can go out and just enjoy so much more light, and everybody feels better. Just going out, and you know the whole seeds, and there's the daffodils and the flowers and the blossom,
vibrant colours.
Oh yeah, and it's just the colour of everything, the grass, everything just feels a lot fresher, and it's almost like you hear the birds chirping. The birds seem to be singing more and more. So it's just all those things.
I know, even was it last week we came back from this lovely concert in London, and you got back home about 4, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Even when I got back, I could hear the birds chirping. The sun hasn't even risen, but I felt good. I love the sound of birds, and it just tells you, like, you know, the birds are always singing, no matter what seasons, and they're just trying to say, let's a new beginning, let's sing into the new day. And that's what I mean, the environment, the nature is always giving you this beautiful, you know, guidance and awareness that, you know, the trees are budding with new leaves, and you know the flowers. So it's what's budding in us, you know, what is it that you want to bud? And so for me it's like, obviously, what do I want to achieve in 2024? So there's so many things we talk about that we want to experience in 2024, something it's always something new, and it tells you that this cycle of life we're in, you know, there's a spring, summer, autumn, winter, it's constant. You know, the moon and the full moon, everything's about cycles, but it's about we have to go along with the change and not being stagnant. That means not being stagnant in our old way of thinking and old thoughts. Now let's create now a new beginning. Look, it's 2024, what seed I'm going to plant now, so what is new that I'm going to experience, and that's what I'm going to nurture by, you know, just repeating those same new desires and intentions. That's how I'm nurturing those new seeds and desire and feeding them. So we've got some wonderful ideas for 2024, and you'll hear more about it every time, you know, we'll do our shows, and we're excited about it. So the excitement, the you know, just talking about it, feeling the thrill and the enjoyment of it, that's how we are nurturing that seed. And by summer, autumn, we'll be sharing a lot about what we've actually created through spring, what we started now.
Yeah, definitely. And also thinking about this, like when you think about spring, it's almost like not only have you got a spring in your step, because you feel like, you know, the darkness, because it feels like we've all been hibernating. You know, we've all been resting, because there's only so much. There's only so much ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੀ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, because when you finish work, you put the fire on, you watch a bit of TV, you're eating foods which are not great for you, because maybe that's just what's available at that time. But in the spring, everybody knows you know, you got to take those all off, and now all of a sudden you're going to be wearing, you know, summer dresses or summer clothes. So everything's lighter. And the other thing is, with spring, you know, the garden, you want to clean everywhere. So it's like a rebirth of making sure everything, getting rid of
energy,
old stuff, and starting new and making everything feel fresh. And for me, that's what spring is, and you just feel lighter inside. You feel happier. Everybody feels a bit chirpy, and this is why when you go to everybody's so much more colourful, because you know, they feel happier because they feel warm, and you know, they just feel loved in that kind of way. But where you've got so much you just feel a bit lower, and it kind of depletes you a little bit. But spring, it almost gives you the chance to start all over again and do new things, exciting things. And I think the nicest part is you can sit in the garden, you know, and drink or eat, and you know, take your food into the garden if you've got a garden, and or go for picnics in the park, and go for long walks. You can't go out very far, because you can't walk in the park up 4 o'clock in the evening. But that you can plan things with your families and friends, and stay out till 8, 7, 8, 9, 10. And I think you just feel like there's so much more value to your day.
That's right.
Because it just carries on, and it's just lovely. I love that.
Yeah, so enjoy your spring, and before you know it, summer will be here.
Yeah.
So enjoy the summer, and we've got so much going on, weddings and parties and program to program.
Oh,
but like I said, get the spring into your body now. We've been, like you said, hibernating and now ready to and spend much time in the garden, because even being indoors in the dark, we do get all sort of like all this negative energy and the feeling of heaviness. The only way we can eliminate that by grounding ourselves, or spending more time in the garden, outdoors, nange pair, that's going to obviously eliminate all that, and you start to feel healthy and full of energy again. So it's all, the timing is beautiful, how everything happens.
And I think, because you're going to take all your layers off, you're more conscious of your body. So you want to start exercising and, eating a bit more mindfully and taking care of things a lot more. Because in the winter you think, I've got about 4 cardigans on, I'm feeling cold. And because you're all layered up, and then all of a sudden you've got to take all those layers off. And,
I love opening the windows. I just love the patios and the windows cold and get the fresh air in. It's a really nice feeling. And start, sometimes decorating, repainting and everything. So
because everything's so much brighter and you can see it properly. So all these things happen, which is lovely. And I love the daffodils and the small flowers that are coming around everywhere. So that's good. So the last topic that we're going to discuss is, if you want to become a happy and joyful person, start doing these 8 things every morning. So ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹੋ ਮੈਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ 'ਚ ਥੋੜਾ ਕਿ ਜਿਹਾ ਹੋਰ ਖੁਸ਼ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ, ਤਾਂ ਥੋੜੀ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੀ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਜੋਏ ਕਰਨੀ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ। ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਾਂ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ ਆ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਨਾਲ, to tell you about what you can do, well it's 6 things, not 8, sorry. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰਿਓ ਹੈ ਨਾ every day, ਤਾਂ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ mood lift ਹੋ ਜਾਣਾ ਹੈ. You're going to feel a lot more positive and better about yourself. So the first thing is to start with mindfulness, being present and fully engaging in the moment and quieting the mind. So ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀ ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਜਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਭਾਂਡੇ ਧੋਂਦੇ ਆ, you might be out for a walk or with family or friends, ਵੀ ਉਸ ਵੇਲੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਐਨ ਆਪਣਾ ਪੂਰਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਉਸ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੇ ਦੇਵੋ, because that will make you feel good. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉੱਠਦੇ ਆ ਸਵੇਰ ਨੂੰ, you might think, oh, I'm just so ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨਾ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਆ, I'm so happy I'm still healthy, I can see, I can hear, I can listen to beautiful music, I can make myself some nice food. So all of these things, ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੁੰਦਾ mindfulness, that you're focusing on the here and now. ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਵੀ ਕੱਲ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਇਆ ਸੀ ਜਾਂ ਕੱਲ ਨੂੰ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਣਾ ਆ. You're just appreciating this specific moment, and that's a great way to start, and this is what can make you feel happier and more joyful in your life.
I would do it even before, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਾਗ ਆਉਂਦੀ ਆ, ਅੱਖਾਂ ਖੋਲਣ ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਹੀ, when you're lying ਮੰਜੇ ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਪਏ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ, even then start feeling, whatever you're saying in your mind, ਅੱਜ ਬਹੁਤ ਸੋਹਣਾ ਦਿਨ ਲੰਘੂਗਾ, even better than I imagine. So even say that I bless my good health, I bless all my organs, I bless my family, I'm so blessed to have a beautiful house, a roof over my head. Just even before you open your eyes, and say about 10, as many as you can actually, and then akhan kholo, and then get ready to start your day. Doing this before you open your eyes, because once you open your eyes, you've connected back into that world. And when you got your eyes shut, you're still into that beautiful world. So that's the powerful state to be in before you open your eyes. So jada jago to there before you open your eyes, you rajai, and then you just quickly say, wow, I'm so grateful to have this. And actually goes into the second thing about cultivating gratitude. It's the same sort of thing. So same again, swenu oday jada jag andiya, just say I'm grateful for my healthy children, I'm grateful for my beautiful family, I'm grateful for that I have enough money, more than enough money to do whatever I want to. I'm so grateful that I have this lovely warm bed and a beautiful job. We don't even bother about things like that. I'm so grateful I can get out of bed, and use all my limbs, and I can brush my own teeth, I can see with my eyes. There's so much. And then take a deep breath and then holi open your eyes. If you do this every day, sachi, do it and you'll notice in a 3 or 4 weeks time, or sachi the things become even more, obvious. You might be having problems with, like, say, issues with health or something, and then you find out, oh my God, really my health up here somehow it resolved itself.
I mean, even listening to you say that, jadon tusi sunde bhi hain and you do it, you visualize it. Je hon agal sun ke you imagine, I'm going to close my eyes, I'm going to be shukrana karna hai, I'm going to cultivate gratitude. Hana ke tusi appreciate karna bi jehdi cheez thodi kol hegi a, na ke bi jehdi cheez thodi kol nahi hegi. So ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਤੇ you don't even have to wait 3 or 4 weeks. ਉਸੇ ਵੇਲੇ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਤੇ you're going to feel lighter ਕਰਕੇ ਤੁਹਾਡਾ ਧਿਆਨ ਸ਼ੁਕਰਾਨੇ ਤੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਕਿ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਚੀਜ਼ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ. You do feel lighter, and over time you're naturally going to feel so much better. So these things are so important, and if you start ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ morning ਇੱਦਾਂ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕਰੀਏ, there is no reason why your day isn't going to be amazing. It's just going to be so beautiful because you've started from a positive energy of being thankful, and that's the absolute best place that anybody can start their day. So the third one is embrace impermanence. So this is a Buddhist theory. So what we're saying is nothing lasts forever. Sometimes we get caught up in the moment. कई बारी साडे मन ते इन्नियां फिक्रां हुंदियां आ भी आ नहीं होया जां आ हो जवे. So we get caught up in that. तां सानू इदा चेता रखना चाहिदा है कि कोई चीज़ नहीं इस दुनिया च रहनी. Everything is not going to be here forever. So don't be so attached. कि जिद्दां भी थोड़ी life हैगी है, हौली just imagine that, in 5 years time, will this really matter? Or शायद जो कुछ मैं आज फिक्र करती हूँ कल जां 2-4 हफ्ते बाद it might not even be there, it might not even exist. So when मैं इन्नी energy इस चीज़ च पानी हाँ, I have to remember nothing will stay forever. असी भी नहीं इस दुनिया च रहना, साडियां चीज़ां भी नहीं रहनियां. So try and stay in the context of not being so attached to all your things, whether it's your partner, your children, your house, anything, because everything's going to go.
This is like a Buddhist philosophy. They say this too shall pass. So even if you're in the happiest moment, even this will pass. It won't last forever. So even if you're going through a really difficult time, this too shall pass. Nothing stays forever. So
in Punjabi that means abi time nang jana.
Yeah. So like I said, don't get into the attachment more, because even jo achhi cheez hi thodi life ch ja rahi hai, this too will pass. So that's okay time, good times, okay time, they will keep changing, and we have to go along with change. But what it's trying to teach is that just live in the moment. Jo moment chega na, that's the only thing that lasts. So and enjoy the moment as you go along. And jo kuch what happened to us even 10 minutes ago, it's gone. It's gone. Kade aaya nahi wapas. Even 2 minutes ago, what was the beginning of the show, sada siga, oh, he's gone. So it's only the moment we live, and we can't go back to the past, we can't go to the future. Here, this is what right now we can feel it. So this too shall pass. So jab bande going through a really successful time, but remember, even this will pass, because that's the journey and the fun of having this experience on this life.
Definitely.
So we're going into the next one. Practice mindful eating. So pay full attention to the experience of eating and drinking. That's another form of, I would say, meditation. So jo kuch kha rahe hain, kuch pee rahe hain, first, if you can, try and remember to bless your food. So whatever you're about to eat or drink, I say bless this food with love, light, and gratitude and infinite healing energy. It's full of healing energy, it's full of God's love. And they kehna, and that's it, that's what you're actually eating and drinking, and that you do this all the time. And his food jada tusi pee rahe kha rahe, his sareer de vich pyar ban janda. And jada baki something is not full of love in there, it will transmute that and make it into love. That's how powerful it is.
I mean, I know of somebody, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਖਾਣਾ and they never said anything, but they appreciated it. And this is somebody makes food for somebody, कदे कहना नहीं हो कि ये फूड आ खाना वधिया नहीं हैगा never ever say that because that person ਜਿਹੜਾ ਖਾਂਦਾ ਸੀ appreciated that they had food ਕਰਕੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਦਿਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲ ਖਾਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਸੀਗਾ so even that you know remembering I'm not going to complain my wife made this food I'm just going to enjoy it eat it मैं कदे कहना नहीं भी ਇਹ ਖਾਣਾ ਲੂਣ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਮਿਰਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੀ ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ because ਮੈਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਉਹ ਦਿਨ ਸੀਗਾ ਵੀ when I never had any food and I mean that's such a humbling thing
is that how to say nukta chini
yeah ਕਿ ਮੈਂ ਕੁਛ ਨੁਕਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਕੱਢਣਾ ਵੀ you know ਵਧੀਆ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਘਟੀਆ ਆ so that is so humbling ਕਰਕੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ life ਇੰਨੀ fast ਆ ਕੋਈ ਸਾਡੇ ਲਈ ਖਾਣਾ ਬਣਾਵੇ ਵੀ we can be in a habit of going oh ਆ ਕੀ ਬਣਾਇਆ you know ਮੇਰੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਸੰਦ ਮੈਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਖਾਣਾ ਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਉਹ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ and ਜਿਹਨੇ ਬਣਾਇਆ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਪੂਰੀ ਐਫਰਟ ਪਾਈ ਹੋਊਗੀ to make that food to the best of their ability but ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਥਾਂ 'ਚ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ where we feel we can judge that person for making food which we think is not our standard but we're not willing to get up and make food but we can sit in a position to criticize somebody so it's really really important to think about what you're doing because somebody has gone to the effort of buying the food bringing the food cooking the food, putting it on a plate, giving it you, and then you're not even going to try and appreciate it. And also life be any faster, you know, khakul in there and they don't even realise. But ਜਦੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਬਣਾਉਣਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਆ, then they realise how much effort, you know, parents or whoever's gone to make the food. So when you're eating, you know, really enjoy the food and appreciate whoever's gone to the trouble of making the food for you because that is the most important thing. The fere ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਵੀ ਹਾਂ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ enjoy ਕੀਤਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ I'm going to make more effort with the food I make. But if you don't say anything or you don't appreciate in any way, well, why would anybody bother?
I quickly want to mention that this family relative, as his mama Master he's kafi good, you know, he's very into his gurmukhi and everything and the Sikhivich. But he would always, no matter who's prepared the food for him, obviously he would do his boklake. And even though sometimes we knew that food wasn't right, but he would never criticize or complain about the food. I know once we were somewhere and somebody forgot to actually put the loon in, but he did not say anything. He used to really, you know, obviously bless the food and eat it, but never ever did he criticize the food.
And I think that's you know that is coming from a place of joy. Look, I'm so grateful that this food is in front of me. So something like that is going to make you happy. It's going to make you joyful. Ke you know ਉਹ ਵੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਲੋਕ ਹੈਗੇ ਆ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪਤਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ ਵੀ when they're going to get the next meal. ਵੀ ਜੇ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੇ ਮੇਲੇ ਬਣਾਇਆ that's so big but ਅਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਫ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇੰਨੇ ਕਾਲੇ ਚੱਲਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਆਦਤ ਹੈਗੀ ਨੁਕਸ ਕੱਢਣ ਦੀ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਖਾਣਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਮੈਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਬਣਾਉਂਦੀ ਆ ਹੈ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਹ so just be mindful ਤੁਸੀਂ ਥੋੜਾ ਜਿਹਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਹਲੀਮੀ ਨਾਲ ਸੋਚੋ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਿਆਦੀ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੰਨੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੱਕੀ ਆ so this is something that will definitely make you happy.
We'll just finish off with this bit. Just say ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਰੋਟੀ ਖਾ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ ਕੁਝ ਵੀ ਸਵੇਰ try not to get distracted with other things going on with your phone or the TV or listening to some negative story. Just be mindful and just say my focus now is just with the food and my relationship with the food, which is full of love and respect and honor your food and drink. So at that time you don't want to be distracted in other, you know, destructive thoughts or people's conversations, and that food turns into it purifies your body and the problem we have like with health issues always starts healing as well because it's how we ingesting it with loving thoughts.
So the fifth one is and we're talking about if you want to become a happy and joyful person, start doing these things every morning. Live with impact, not ego. Ego is a source of suffering. It keeps us stuck in our own perspectives and we're unable to empathize with others or see the bigger picture. So you know ਜਦੋਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਜੀਨੇ ਆ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੀਨੇ ਆ you know think about doing it in a way that's helpful to you and to others. ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਕਿ you know coming from a place of judgment ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਅਗਲਿਆਂ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਆ you know ਜੋ ਕੁਛ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਕਰਦੀ ਆ ਸਹੀ ਆ ਜਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਰਦਾ ਆ because as soon as you say ਮੈਂ you know you're coming from a place of ego and that's what we call it in English and when you're coming from that place, you can't be compassionate, you can't be loving towards yourself and to others. So it's really, really important. But if you want to be happy, that you walk in the shoes of other people, you understand, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਨ 'ਚ ਸੋਚਣਾ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਗੁਰਬਾਣੀ 'ਚ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੁਖੀਆ ਸਭ ਸੰਸਾਰ, ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਾਰੇ ਠੀਕ ਹੈ ਆਪਣੇ ਥਾਂ, ਪਰ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਅੰਦਰਲੀ ਸਟੋਰੀ ਅਗਲਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਕੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ। ਤੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੋਂ ਗਲਤ ਬੋਲ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦਾ, we're all guilty of it, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੋਊਗੀ। So it's really important, you know, ਜਿਹੜੀ ਵੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਲਾਈਫ ਜੀਣੀ ਆ, do it with a sense of love, kindness, care and compassion. ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਆਪੇ ਖੁਸ਼ ਆ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ you're not going out to hurt anybody, you're not upsetting everybody, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੋਚ ਕੇ ਬੋਲਦੇ ਆ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਇੰਗਲਿਸ਼ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹਦੇ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ if you're not going to say anything nice, don't say anything at all. ਵੀ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਦੇ ਇਹਦਾ ਮਤਲਬ ਹੈਗਾ ਆ ਕਿ ਜੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਵਧੀਆ ਨਹੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਨੀ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਹਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲੇ ਨਾ ਕਰੋ। That's the best thing.
So ego, when we're talking about edging God out, so we only edge God out when we're holding on to a victim story, when we're holding on to blame, and we think main dukhi ode karke. So this is a morning ritual. So you get up in the morning, you think like, why am I holding on to this? Because mera hi nuksan hunda. So you're going to say, and it goes into forgiveness. I'm going to forgive myself and forgive others. I'm forgiving myself because this is stories I attached to, I put meaning on that situation, and I'm forgiving myself for feeling, you know, the way I did and blaming them. So I'm going to let go of blame. So I'm going to wake up this morning, let go of all blame, let go of all the grudges I've been holding on to. So I'm just going to forgive, going to the virtue of forgiveness. This is how I want to live rest of my life, and I want to hold on to that old story. And how did they actually help me? Whatever happened the day before, last week or last 10 years. So every morning is an opportunity to wake up and say, you know, you are my reflection, so you help me to learn this virtue of forgiveness. And morning you have that, and that's edging, you know, that's getting away from the ego part of you that wants to make you feel small and sad and a victim mentality. So this is a good way to wake up every morning and letting go of you. Today I'm going to let go of that grudge, I'm going to let go of that story. Ki karna, you know, it's gone now. And this is my life, this is my body. I want to enjoy the rest of my life. I don't want to hold on to these grudges anymore.
Yeah, so the last one is, and we've kind of gone into a little bit on number 5 as well, is practice compassion, understanding and alleviate the suffering from yourself and others. So ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਚੇਤਾ ਭੁੱਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਆ ਵੀ ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਸੀਗਾ ਕਿ ਅਗਲਿਆਂ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਲਾਈਫ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈਗੀ, ਉੱਪਰੋਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਸ਼ੋਅ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਠੀਕ ਆ, ਯੂ ਨੋ, ਪਰ ਕਈ ਵਾਰੀ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਗਲੇ ਦਾ ਮਨ ਫਰੋਲਦੇ ਆ, is that the right word? ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਆ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਗਲੇ ਦਾ ਮਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੁੱਛਦੇ ਆ ਚੰਗੀ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ, ਫਿਰ ਉਹ ਦੱਸਦਾ ਵੀ ਮੈਂ ਇੰਨਾ ਦੁਖੀ ਆ ਕਿ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਈ ਆ, ਮੈਨੂੰ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਹੋਈ ਆ। I've got a lovely friend who works in the hospital, and she tells me so many different stories ਕਿ you know ਜਦੋਂ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ hospital ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਆ ਵੀ ਬਸ ਆਹੀ ਪ੍ਰੋਬਲਮ ਆ, you know, not just with the arm or the leg or something, but ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਗੱਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ then you realize ਵੀ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਦੁਖੀ ਆ। So ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਨਹੀਂ ਚੀਜ਼ ਕਰਨੀ, ਅਸੀਂ ਅਗਲਿਆਂ ਦਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦੁੱਖ ਆ ਅਸੀਂ ਵਡਾਈਏ, share it. I think that's the right word. ਕਿ you know, alleviate the suffering of others, ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਅਗਲੇ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਔਖਾ ਟਾਈਮ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਔਖਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਨਾ ਹੈਗਾ, ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵੀ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੋਈ ਕੰਮ ਕਰਨਾ ਪਿਆਰ ਨਾਲ ਕਰਨਾ ਆ, to make not just ourselves feel good but make them feel good, ਵੀ ਚੱਲ ਹੋ you know ਜੇ ਮੈਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਕੋਈ ਮਦਦ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੀ ਹਾਂ, you know I'm happy to do that, ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਵੀ ਚੱਲ ਹੋ you know ਇਹ ਤਾਂ ਹਰੇਕ ਨਾਲ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ, things like that. That's not helpful. So it's important to empathize and really try and help people when they're down on their luck. Because ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਤਾ ਵੀ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਉਣਾ ਆ. We don't know how or in which shape or form, but okay time, ਜਿੱਦਾਂ ਸੌਖੇ ਟਾਈਮ ਆਉਣੇ ਉਹ ਆਉਣੇ ਆ. And only through that experience, you know, we can be more caring to other people who are going through that. And
be very compassionate to yourself, because we're so hard on ourselves. Like let's say the day before or a week before something happened and we thought we made a mistake and we felt like we weren't happy, we're just regretting our behavior. So be compassionate and forgive yourself. thinking, going ho gaya, next time I'll try again.
Yeah.
So be kinder to yourself. That's the most important thing, because nobody doesn't criticize as much as we criticize ourselves. You know, we're very hard on ourselves, so be kinder to ourselves.
So just finishing off, and this is a nice little light bit. Ed Sheeran and Diljit Dosanjh. जिन्हों ने नहीं पता जाने ना देखा होगा भी जिथे Ed Sheeran and Diljit Dosanjh Mumbai ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆਪਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਹੀ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀ ਨਾਲ ਨੱਚਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. I mean we just think that's such a beautiful thing. You know, Diljit Dosanjh is doing so many amazing things with Ed Sheeran ਨਾਲੇ ਗਾਉਂਦੇ ਸੀਗੇ. I don't think Ed Sheeran, we don't know whether he was doing a great job, but it doesn't matter because they were together and
I thought it was just
creating
nice.
some kind of history.
The West and the East, you know, unifying together, and this is what life should be about. You shouldn't see such a background that when music, it
crosses boundaries.
Yeah, it crosses boundaries, countries, and all sorts of things. That's the power of music and love, and you know, everybody. Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah, we really like it.
So we hope you enjoyed this show, and we'll have many more like this. And follow us on Instagram and on Facebook. It's Dav Ubi and Gurdjana Gacha. Take care, and thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.